If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If you live by democracy, you will die through that democracy. If you look at Ruto's track record, his politics, his narratives have always been very divisive. Look on how he started his politics in the early 90s and how he became the president. In 2022, when he was campaigning for the presidency, he brought this narrative of the hustlers versus the dynasties. And if you look at what happened today, then it's very clear that the hustlers he was talking about decided to deal with the dynasties. That was Ruto's narrative in 2022. Hustlers versus the dynasties. And we did warn that that was a very divisive narrative that had the potential of inciting the poor against the rich. And today, the poor stormed parliament. So it was the poor storming the rich. It never stopped there. Very close Ruto's allies and very close Rigath's allies are finding the ground very hostile. Earlier in the day, Oscar SUDI'S Timber Club in ELDORET was raided. And from Oscar SUDI, they went to Farouk, Kibet. It's alleged Farouk Kibet is the owner of Bania Square in ELDORET. It's a big club in ELDORET. It's rumored that's Farouk Kibet's club. You know, some of these individuals, sometimes they don't want to own up to some of these investments. That club was raided today. And you are seeing protesters there carrying some drinks there. That's how things were at Bania Square in ELDORET. And earlier in the day, we also saw Oscar SUDI'S Timber OX being raided. I want us to put all this into perspective, considering that other raids were also made somewhere. Kimani Chuma was raided, Kimani Kuria was raided, Cecile Barilo was raided, quite a number. And in our next video, we are going to look at another Rigath's close ally who was raided. Let's put all this into perspective. Before we do that, if you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. What's happening here, ladies and gentlemen? Ruto is being consumed by the principles he has always propagated. Upon coming to power, we know what happened to Uhuru Kenyatta's Northlands farm, and some of these Ruto's allies were really happy and congratulated the goons who raided Uhuru Kenyatta's Northlands farm. But today, in June, they are also feeling the heat of the same hustlers. This raid confirms the ground is very angry with Ruto, and it's very interesting that his closest allies, Oscar SUDI, Farouk Kibet, people who are known to be very close to Ruto, are being raided. I think these people, if they had that opportunity, they could have gone for Ruto himself, but because they can't reach Ruto, they are going for some of his close allies. Those considered as the kitchen cabinets, those surrounding William Ruto. These raids are meant to send a very strong warning to Ruto. The Kalenjin nation is telling Ruto it will never be business as usual. Either you do things the way we want it, or to hell with you. That's what the Kalenjin nation is telling Ruto. And all this should not be taken for granted. I won't be shocked to find that the Kalenjin nation will reject Ruto. And already they are rejecting Ruto. Times are changing, ladies and gentlemen. If Ruto will be lucky to reach 2027, which I highly doubt, but if at all he will be lucky to reach 2027, I've always maintained here, he will be the weakest presidential candidate. That's what I've been saying in this forum for those who've been following me. Ruto will be the weakest candidate. Any person who will stand against Ruto will beat Ruto very early in the morning. I don't think Ruto will succeed. And even rigging sometimes requires some support from the ground. William Ruto will be rejected in totality. Kenyans across board will reject Ruto. If at all he will reach 2027, which I highly doubt. And I've been saying that in this forum. It's a fact that the mountain vote is already gone, and even the Kalenjin vote, from the look of things, has gone. These other areas went years back. So Ruto is just left with these instruments of power. But those instruments without the people is zero. Farouk Kibet was targeted. Oscar SUDI has been targeted. Kimani Chungwa targeted. All these individuals are being targeted for their support of Ruto. It's now coming true, as I've been saying, that as time goes by, leaders supporting Ruto will find the ground very hostile. They'll be forced to go silent or to make a U-turn. They will dump Ruto. And I'm very sure from what happened today, our elected leaders have gotten a very strong warning, a very strong message. The people have told them, we are your bosses. And I won't be wrong to say that in the coming days, you'll see these leaders trying to be a little bit independent. What has been happening is that these members of parliament were all being controlled by Ruto, save for the opposition members of parliament. Kenya Kwanza MPs were being controlled by Ruto. What happened today is going to change all that. I strongly believe in that. And if you look at the plan of action by the Gen Z, things are just happening as they did plan. They promised to occupy parliament, which they did. Across the country, there were serious demonstrations. So Ruto has got only one option. He should not assent to that finance bill. If he does that, then he should be prepared to go home. And he might go home even before 2027. That's what I can say here. And Ruto should also know that he can't oppress the people forever. Oppression also has got its limits. You oppress a people for a given duration, but then again it reaches a stage where the people will obviously rebel, and Kenyans are already rebelling. And if Ruto looks at it very objectively, Kenyans are not really rebelling against the finance bill. The finance bill is just but a trigger. Emotions have been building ever since Ruto was declared the president. Upon being sworn in as the president, he started stepping on Kenyan toes. So emotions and hate have been building up. And looking at Ruto and looking at the state of affairs, it's only but going to get worse. Let me stop it there. ladies and gentlemen. And for those watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. And to those watching us from outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give the video a like. And let me remind those who may not know that according to Gen Z, tomorrow, Wednesday, they will be visiting IPOA to demand justice for X. And with the individuals killed today, the situation is only but going to get ugly and uglier. Let's hope that all will go on well and Kenyans will get what they are fighting for. We want a just country where leaders are for the people, not for one individual called the president. Thank you. God bless you.